63% of used Escalade buyers report a major repair within the first year. Dealers know exactly which years those are. They just never tell you before you sign. Today, I am exposing the exact years ranked worst to best, the ones you run from, and the ones that quietly hit 200,000 miles without touching the engine. Number 1 in the avoid column is sitting on dealer lots right now at a price that feels like a steal. Number 1 in the trust column is the Escalade mechanics quietly buy for themselves. Let's get into it. Worst number 3, the 2014 Cadillac. ATS Cadillac built the ATS to kill the BMW 3 Series. They engineered a brilliant rear-wheel drive platform called Alpha, and the chassis balance was genuinely exceptional. Then they dropped the wrong engine into it and turned a handler into a liability. The primary engine for the 2014 ATS was the 2.0-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, known internally as the LTG. On paper, it pushed 272 horsepower. In reality, it harbored a fatal flaw in its internal metallurgy. The pistons were catastrophically susceptible to low-speed pre-ignition, or LSPI. Because of the aggressive turbo tuning and the specific fuel injection spray pattern, the air and fuel mixture would occasionally ignite before the spark plug fired. This sent a violent shockwave into the piston while it was still traveling upward. The piston ring lands, the fragile strips of aluminum that hold the piston rings in place would crack and shatter. The engine loses compression immediately. You get a flashing check engine light, a misfire, and a cloud of blue smoke. There's no patch. The only repair is a complete engine teardown and piston replacement, running $4,000 at an independent shop and $6,000 at the dealer. If the engine held together, the interior would not. The 2014 ATS was the first year of Cadillac's CUE infotainment system, and the touchscreens on these early units are practically guaranteed to fail. The digitizer separates from the glass due to heat expansion in the sun, creating a spiderweb cracking effect under the surface. Once this happens, the screen either goes completely unresponsive or starts experiencing ghost touches, randomly changing your radio station or blasting the climate control on its own. A replacement screen module costs over $1,000. Add in the magnetic ride control shock absorbers that frequently begin leaking past 60,000 miles at roughly $800 a corner to replace, and the 2014 ATS drains you from the engine bay, the dashboard, and the suspension simultaneously. The ATS is a brilliant chassis wrapped around a financial trap, but our next pick made history for a different reason. It melted its own headlights. Worst number 2, the 2010 Cadillac SRX. When Cadillac redesigned the SRX for 2010, they moved it from a rear-wheel drive platform to a front-wheel drive-based crossover. It looked sharp, it sold in massive numbers, and it is one of the most frustrating vehicles Cadillac has ever produced. The heart of the problem is the 3.0-liter V6, known as the LF1. General Motors designed it to be efficient but completely miscalculated the durability of the timing chain and the positive crankcase ventilation system. Over time, the PCV system fails to clear combustion vapors from the crankcase. Those vapors condense and degrade the engine oil rapidly. Cadillac compounded this by recommending oil change intervals of up to 10,000 miles, which turned degraded oil into an abrasive paste that wore through the timing chain pins. The chain stretches, engine timing jumps out of specification, and the vehicle limps into what owners describe as survival mode. Replacing the timing chain on a transverse front-wheel drive V6 requires partially dropping the engine from the vehicle. You're looking at $2,500 to $3,000. The body engineering was equally flawed. The panoramic sunroof drain tubes shrink over time and pull away from their grommets. When it rains, water bypasses the drains entirely and flows down the inside of the C-pillars directly into the trunk area. Beneath the trunk floor sit the smart liftgate hydraulic pump and several key body control modules. The water pools around them, submerges the electronics, and your power tailgate stops working. Your battery drains overnight, and your dashboard lights up like a Christmas tree. Fixing the water damage and replacing the modules runs over $2,000. Then there are the headlights. The reflective coating inside the projector bowls literally burns off from the heat of the bulb. As the coating turns to ash, the headlights lose their ability to project light forward. Driving a 2010 SRX at night feels like driving with dim flashlights taped to the bumper. You cannot just change the bulb. You have to replace the entire headlight assembly after removing the front bumper. Avoid the 2010 SRX at all costs. It is a masterclass in poor material selection. The SRX is an electrical nightmare. But worst number 1? An elite flagship that doubles as a blank check to your mechanic. Worst number 1, the 2015 Cadillac Escalade. This is the king of American luxury, and the 2015 model year, the launch year of the 4th generation K2XX platform, is an absolute mechanical and electronic disaster. If you buy a 2015 Escalade, you are buying a 6,000-pound beta test. The problems begin the moment you put it in gear. The 8L908-speed automatic transmission was rushed into production to meet fuel economy standards. The torque converter clutch friction material was chemically incompatible with the original factory transmission fluid. Because of this incompatibility, the fluid absorbs moisture over time. When the Torque's converter tries to engage at highway cruising speeds, the clutch slips and chatters violently. Owners call it the Chevy shudder. It feels exactly like driving over a continuous rumble strip at 60 miles per hour. Cadillac's fix was a triple fluid flush, but for many 2015 models, the damage to the torque converter was already permanent. You end up replacing a torque converter or an entire transmission on a vehicle you just paid $40,000 for on the used market. Under the hood, the situation is equally dire. The 6.2-liter L86 V8 features active fuel management, which shuts down 4 cylinders to save fuel by collapsing special lifters on the camshaft. In the 2015, the locking pins inside these lifters are prone to catastrophic failure. The lifter turns sideways and grinds metal on metal. The engine develops a loud, concussive ticking. If not caught immediately, it wipes out the entire camshaft and sends metal shrapnel through the engine block. The repair is a complete engine rebuild, often exceeding $7,000. The suspension is the third strike. The magnetic ride control shocks on the 2015 have notoriously weak seals. They blow out and leak their expensive magnetorheological fluid before the truck hits 50,000 miles. The truck begins to ride like a wooden wagon, bouncing violently over every bump. Replacing all 4 magnetic shocks costs $3,000. The CUE infotainment system cracks. The air conditioning condenser develops microfractures. The power running board sees in winter. The 2015 Escalade looks like a fortress. Underneath the leather and chrome, it is a fragile, rushed piece of engineering. It is the worst Cadillac you can buy today, but do not give up on the brand yet. Once Cadillac got it right, they got it very right. Best number 4. The 2019 Cadillac XTS. If you want the ultimate cheat code in the used luxury car market right now, it is the 2019 Cadillac XTS. The XTS is not a sports car. It is a massive, unapologetic American luxury cruiser built on a proven, rock-solid architecture, and the 2019 is the perfection of this platform, right before Cadillac discontinued it. The engine is the reason to buy it. Under the hood is the 3.6-liter naturally aspirated V6 known as the LFX. This is the engine that General Motors spent a decade refining after the timing chain failures of the earlier 3-liter units. They widened the timing chains, enlarged the oil galleries, and upgraded the PCV system. The result is virtually bulletproof. Change the oil every 5,000 miles, and the LFX will sail past 200,000 miles without asking for major surgery. This is the exact reason the XTS became the default vehicle for the American livery and limousine industry. Airport car services do not buy vehicles that break down. They buy the XTS because it runs forever and costs almost nothing to maintain. Unlike the complex 8-speed transmissions that cause so much grief elsewhere, the XTS uses a heavy-duty traditional 6-speed automatic. It does not shudder, it does not hesitate, it shifts smoothly in the background, exactly as a luxury car should. The rear legroom rivals a long-wheelbase German flagship sedan. The trunk swallows 4 full-size sets of golf clubs with room to spare. By 2019, Cadillac had resolved the CUE screen delamination issues with a faster, more durable processor and a display that natively supports Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Because it is a discontinued sedan without a performance badge or a trendy SUV body style, depreciation has hit it like a freight train. In 2026, you can find a pristine low-mileage 2019 XTS Premium Luxury for under $18,000. You are buying a highly reliable executive sedan for the price of a used Honda Civic. The XTS is the ultimate budget cruiser. But want a reliable SUV that fixed every mistake the SRX made? Best number 3, the 2023 Cadillac XT5. The XT5 replaced the disastrous SRX and became the brand's quietest success story. While the automotive press focused on the performance sedans and the Escalade, the XT5 was refined year after year until it became one of the most sensible luxury crossovers on the market. The 2023 is the sweet spot. You must seek out models equipped with the 3.6-liter V6, specifically the LGX generation. This engine produces 310 horsepower and is a masterpiece of natural naturally aspirated design. It uses active fuel management, but unlike the V8S, the system in the LGX is refined and historically far less prone to lifter failure. Cadillac paired it with a 9-speed automatic co-developed with Ford that bypasses the catastrophic shuddering issues of the 8-speed entirely. It is smooth, responsive, and keeps the V6 precisely in its power band. The Sport trim brings the modern iteration of magnetic ride control, and by this generation, the seals and fluid dynamics had been vastly improved over the early systems that caused so much grief in the 2015 Escalade. The cabin uses active noise cancellation through the Bose audio system to counter road frequencies, and the result is genuinely quiet. The leather is thick, the physical switchgear feels premium, and the infotainment is wireless. CarPlay capable with a screen that does not crack in the sun. One thing to avoid: the base 2.0-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. It has to work far too hard to move the weight of the XT5, and it sounds agricultural under acceleration. Find the V6 and pay the difference. Find a clean 2023 XT5, premium luxury or sport, with the V6 for $28,000 to $34,000. You are buying a crossover that has had all of its early production bugs systematically exterminated. The XT5 is the sensible choice, but want to terrify passengers in a bulletproof 4-door muscle car? Best number 2, the 2014 Cadillac CTS-V. If you want a vehicle that will go down in history as one of the most brutal, reliable, and charismatic sports sedans ever built, you buy a second-generation Cadillac CTS-V. The 2014 is the pinnacle of that generation. This car is not subtle, it is a sledgehammer dressed in a tuxedo. The entire reason it makes the best list is the engine. The legendary 6.2-liter supercharged LSA V8 derived directly from the Corvette ZR1. It produces 556 horsepower and 551 pound-feet of torque, but more important than the power figures is the sheer durability of this block. The LSA does not use complex direct injection. It uses traditional port fuel injection, which means the intake valves stay clean indefinitely. It does not use the failure-prone active fuel management lifters. It is a heavy-duty cast-iron block supplied with forged connecting rods and a massive Eaton supercharger bolted to the top. Mechanics and enthusiasts widely consider it one of the most reliable, high-performance V8 engines ever manufactured. Backing it up is either a heavy-duty 6-speed automatic or a Tremec TR6060 6-speed manual. If you find the manual, you have found a unicorn that will only appreciate in value. Weak points are genuinely minor. An early supercharger isolator coupling rattle was resolved by 2014. The rear differential benefits from regular fluid changes. That is essentially the list. In 2026, a clean 2014 CTS-V sedan commands $35,000 to $45,000. The ultra-rare wagon version demands over $70,000. You are buying a certified modern classic. It is a car that will never be built again. The CTS-V is a supercharged legend, but the final pick is the absolute peak of what Cadillac is capable of when they let the engineers off the leash entirely. Best number 1, the 2023 Cadillac CT5V Blackwing. This is it. In an era where every other luxury manufacturer is downsizing engines, adding hybrid systems, removing manual transmissions, and synthesizing exhaust noise through the speakers, Cadillac went in the opposite direction entirely. They looked at the market, decided to go completely unhinged, and built a mechanical love letter to the driving enthusiast. Under the carbon fiber vented hood is a hand-built 6.2-liter supercharged Cadillac LT4 V8. It produces 668 horsepower and 659 pound-feet of torque. This is rear-wheel drive only. No all-wheel drive system to numb the steering. No compromise. And the most critical detail of the Blackwing's legendary status? You can buy it with a Tremec TR6060 6-speed manual transmission, 3 pedals, a heavy clutch, a shifter that engages with the mechanical precision of a bolt-action rifle, active rev matching, and no lift shifting for when you want to keep the throttle pinned while grabbing the next gear. The chassis dynamics are otherworldly. The CT5V Blackwing uses the Alpha 2 architecture paired with magnetic ride control 4.0, which reads the road 1,000 times per second and adjusts each individual wheel's damping almost instantly. The car weighs over 4,000 pounds and handles like something half its size. It dives into corners with razor precision, offering steering feedback that Porsche engineers openly admire. Inside, carbon fiber-backed racing seats, massive digital gauge clusters configurable for track telemetry, and infotainment that is snappy and genuinely responsive, luxurious on the commute, entirely focused on a back road. The only weak points are fuel economy economy in the single digits when driven properly, and tires that the supercharged V8 will turn to smoke with agonizing ease. In 2026, a 2023 CT5V Blackwing sits between $85,000 and $110,000 depending on packages and transmission choice. That is not cheap, but you are not just buying a car. The internal combustion V8 manual sedan is dead. The Blackwing is its glorious supercharged tire-shredding tombstone. Buy it before history forgets how to build one. Click on the next video so you do not get fooled by a shiny dealership floor. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.